Okay, in this lesson, I'm gonna cover a continue of the complex number. Let's write continue of the complex number. Okay, continue of complex. So complex is what? A plus B I, right? So, and remember, I talked previous lesson. I is equal to uh, square root of -1. Let me correct it. So it's square root of -1, and also I square is equal to -1. So let's say you were given a x square minus 3x, right, is equal to -10. So in this you have to bring all together. So you can say this is equal to x, this equal to x squared negative 3x plus, because if you move it x to the other side, sign change, plus 10 equal to 0. So now what you're gonna do is you can use this time a quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root b square minus 4ac all over 2a, right? So all over, so make sure your line goes all the way, so the b has to be included. So now what we're gonna do is we need to find this, x using a complex a plus b I. So first thing first, what is a and what is a b and what is a c, right? Because we see here a, we have a b here, we have a and c. So a, we know in front of any variable there should be 1 here, even though it's not showing. So 1 there. So a is a 1, b is 3, -3. Let me get more space here. I do b is equal to -3, and the c is right here 10, right? So now x is equal to negative, what we have b we have a -3, so time is a -3 plus and minus square root, what we have b here again -3 square, right, minus 4 times 1 times a 10, right? You have to drag your line all the way, right? And then you have to drag your line like that all the way. Don't make just a half, and I'm seeing many people do like that. So you have to be all the way showing, the standard of your work has to be followed, not standard. So now let's say 2 here times 1, right? So, and now our x is equal to negative, here times negative is positive 3. This change to 3 plus and minus, right? Square root all the way. -3 square is -3 times -3 is a 9, right? Minus 4. 4 times 1 times 10 is 40, right? All this over 2 times 1 is 2, right? So now what we got? We have our x is equal minus square root of negative 30, right? All this over what? 2, right? So now we can work on this. We can say, this is like a fraction, right? You can say 3 over 2 plus or minus, because this denominator belongs to all of them. And then you can say square root of negative 30, right? Negative 30, I think has to be 31, yeah, because I'm subtracting 40 for 9, right? So this has to be 31 all over 2. So now we don't need a negative number for complex, right? We don't need. So what are we gonna do? So we have to say this is equal 3 over 2 plus minus square root 31 over 2i, right? I. So I, it tells you the negative 1, right? So I, it gives it's the what? Square root. I is square root of 1, right? I is what? I is square root of negative 1. So this is a negative 1, because if I have a negative 1 times 2, I got what? Negative 2. So here, if you have negative 1 times 31, you got what? Negative 31, right? So since you have here negative 31, right, square root negative 31, you just put the I at, right, because this is a negative 1, right? So negative 1 times 31, it gives you back to negative 31. You just go back to here. So, and just to indicate you're working on the complex, you have I2, right? Complex number, we talked about this. So this is how you solve. Or also you can do this way. This is equal to 3 over 2 plus or minus 1 over 2 square root 31i, right? Because this one does not change anything, it just brings back to square root of 31. So you can do this one too. This is also another problem of the how to solve complex numbers for college math.